The war between Ukraine and Russia completely changed the army orders, war strategies, and future plans in the world. With the integration of armed drones into guerrilla tactics and regular frontline strategies, and even naval warfare, modern warfare has entered a whole new era. Drone technologies and new guerrilla strategies of the Ukrainian armed forces have given a new perspective to the armies of the world. Ukraine produced many secret trump cards in this process and managed to completely defeat the Russian army with its secret weapons and strategies. They responded to the Russian army with very serious surprise attacks and secret weapons. Undoubtedly, among these weapons we mentioned, the most memorable, Turkish-made Bayraktar TB2 and the latest Ukrainian technology, underwater attack drones. These small but very effective war machines have devastated the Russian army by being equipped with secret weapons or guiding them. With the heavy conditions brought by the winter months, the ground operation is almost impossible, and in this case, long-range artillery and unmanned aerial vehicles and secret surprise weapons will be the most trusted equipment of the Ukrainian armed forces during the winter months against the Russian army. Bayraktar TB2 had a very special place for the Ukrainian army and people among the armed unmanned aerial vehicles that became legendary in the first two stages of the war. In the war that started in February, Ukraine's most popular weapons were Bayraktar TB2 unmanned aerial vehicles. Bayraktar TB2s, purchased from Turkey, have turned into a war vehicle with a song written for them with their outstanding performance. Bayraktar TB2 aerial vehicles, which achieved legendary success and completely ignored the radars of the Russian air defense, destroyed warships, tanks, armored vehicles, command centers, air defense positions, and troops of the Russian army one by one. The TB2 seems to have achieved these feats not only with its standard equipment, the MAMC and MAML laser-guided missiles, but also with its secret partner weapon, the Turkish-made TRLG-230 laser-guided missile. After the claim that appeared on the agenda today, Russian President Vladimir Putin went crazy. The allegations claim that Turkey sent laser-guided missiles to Ukraine. Even as Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is pushing for Ukraine and Russia to resolve the dispute through diplomacy, unnamed sources said this week the country is supplying Ukraine with dozens of TRLG-230 laser-guided missiles. According to the news source, 50 TRLG-230 missiles were sent to Ukraine at the beginning of summer. The TRLG-230 laser-guided multiple rocket launcher, when working together with Bayraktar TB2, guarantees a 100% hit on its target. This unity may shed light on some of the operations in the first months of the war. Video footage of the missiles already in action was posted on social media this week. The footage appears to show the missiles being launched from a Ukrainian position. Unnamed sources familiar with the matter confirmed on Monday a similar report by Oryx, a defense blog that claims the weapons were being shipped from Turkey to Ukraine. Oryx is an independent publication that keeps and analyzes international war records with visuals, videos, and official explanations on proven data. While the report is still unconfirmed, some sources claim that as many as 200 missiles have been sent to Ukraine so far, and more may be on the way. However, given that deliveries of Turkey's Bayraktar UAVs, electronic warfare equipment, mortars, and ammunition were largely unannounced from the Turkish government, unannounced deliveries do not mean reports are unlikely. As you may recall, Russia issued a warning to Turkey about Bayraktar TB2 in February and March. However, Ankara stated that Bayraktar TB2s were produced by Baykar Technology Company and they did not interfere in the company's sales. For this reason, arms shipments from Turkey to Ukraine usually occur weeks after they are delivered. In April, Turkish officials also confirmed that the country would assist Ukraine after the list of requests from Kyiv was published. A leaked list of these requests revealed that Ukraine asked for air defense systems from Turkey, including the Korkut self-propelled anti-aircraft gun, 80,000 rounds of ammunition, and 8 Hisar-O medium-range surface-to-air missile systems. At the same time, Turkish officials expressed their willingness to help Ukraine, but said some requests were unrealistic. Well, if we want to get to know these laser-guided missiles we are talking about closely, the examination of these missiles will be much more eye-opening for all of us. TRLG-230 is a laser-guided missile that can be launched from the Roketsan multi-caliber artillery system. The missile has a range of 20 to 70 kilometers and can hit targets within a range of only 2 meters. Reports indicate that the missiles may have been intended for use with the Bayraktar TB2, a Turkish attack aircraft heavily used by the Ukrainians throughout the conflict. TRLG-230 missiles can be deployed with maximum accuracy using Bayraktar unmanned aerial vehicles to help locate targets at long range. TRLG-230 missiles are intended to hit the target pinpointly, rather than firing many at once as with a normal multiple rocket launcher. While continuing to arm Ukraine, Turkey remains committed to ending the occupation of Ukraine through diplomatic means. Referring to the decision to extend the grain corridor agreement over the weekend, Turkish President Erdogan said, "We can open a peace corridor outside the grain corridor, and the best way to do this is to move from dialogue to peace." Turkey, which has managed the diplomatic ties between Ukraine and Russia very well so far, plays a key role in establishing peace in the region. They did not completely break off relations with Russia. At the same time, they continue to support Ukraine permanently. With many war vehicles, especially Bayraktar TB2 which they supplied to Ukraine, Turkey made the war go much better for Ukraine. At the same time, with its role in the grain corridor, Turkey took the lead in eliminating the grain crisis in the world. As you may recall, the negotiations between Russia and Ukraine took place in the meetings held in Turkey. At the same time, they indirectly ensured the security of a certain part of the Ukrainian coast by not passing Russia's warships to the Black Sea. Turkey is pushing Russia and Ukraine to start peace talks, hoping to build on recent successful diplomatic initiatives, such as the critical grain deal that allowed Ukraine to export food through a safe corridor in the war zone. Turkey maintains a delicate balance between Russia and Ukraine. Analysts say Turkey, a NATO ally, has positioned itself as a neutral player in the Ukraine war, being pro-Ukrainian without being anti-Russia. A White House spokesperson confirmed on Monday that Turkey is also the location for talks between CIA chief Bill Burns and his Russian counterpart Sergei Narishkin. However, the spokesperson denied that peace talks are on the table. Burns reported that Russia was not conducting any negotiations. He does not discuss the resolution of the war in Ukraine. It conveys a message about the consequences of Russia's use of nuclear weapons and the risks of escalating to strategic stability. Turkey's stated neutral stance has drawn criticism from the West and has even raised questions about Turkey's loyalty to NATO. However, Sinan Ülgen, director of the Center for Economics and Foreign Policy Studies in Istanbul, says this is mostly a successful strategy for Turkey. The Turkish president managed to reach out to both Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Erdogan is the only leader in NATO who can do this, and along with the leader of Israel, he is one of the few world leaders who can. Turkey has long-standing defense cooperation and trade relations with Ukraine. In the days following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February, Turkish-made Bayraktar TB2 drones supplied to Ukraine helped hold off the Russian advance, one of the first turning points of the war. The Turkish president has urged Russia to return all occupied territory to Ukraine, including Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014. The day after Russia rejoined the Black Sea export agreement brokered by Turkey and the United Nations, Putin, addressing the members of the Russian Security Council, praised Turkey's neutrality and said, of course, that Russia would not get in the way of the grain deal. Regarding the issue, Russian President Vladimir Putin said, "Taking into account Turkey's neutrality in the conflict in general, the possibilities of the grain industry, and Erdogan's efforts to meet the interests of the poorest countries, we will not interfere in any way with the supply of grain from Ukraine to Turkey in the future." Now, Turkey wants to use its influence on both Ukraine and Russia to persuade them to speak up and put an end to the war. Erdogan's chief advisor and spokesman, Ibrahim Kalin, held talks with both Russian and Ukrainian officials. Turkey sees a place for diplomacy in the war, said Kalin. While the war is about Ukraine's territorial integrity and sovereignty, it is a larger geopolitical picture for Russia. Turkey wants to keep communication open with both Russia and Ukraine and urges its Western allies to do the same. Without some kind of talk and negotiation, without involving and engaging the Russian side, this war does not seem likely to end. Yes, the crimes committed by Russia are obvious, but in order to end this war, an environment of agreement must be established. The Russian president has been cornered enough and can be put on the negotiating table. Turkey draws attention to the fact that it does not equate engagement with Russia with approving their actions, but it acknowledges that continued Russian attacks on civilian targets in Ukraine may make it difficult for Turkey to maintain its neutrality. The United States, on the other hand, has made some statements recently to put Kiev on the agreement table, but it may be when Russia does not destroy civilian infrastructure and launch these unjustified attacks on Ukraine. The peace process does not seem impossible in the process when Russia left the Ukrainian civilians alone and evacuated Ukrainian lands. We hope that this process will take place soon and Ukrainians will get the freedom and territorial integrity they deserve. Thank you for watching us.